Hey all, it's been a while since I made a video in this series, so my apologies for that. In this one we're going to take a quick look at the shifting of the burden of proof fallacy. Of course, I probably should have done a video on the burden of proof first, but oh well. This is a fallacy that we often see being shouted out in many discussions in the online atheist and skeptic sphere. Sometimes it's called out correctly, of course, but I often also see it misused. Shifting the burden of proof happens when one person makes a claim, and then rather than supporting that claim with an argument, the person tells their interlocutor to prove them wrong. Imagine something like the Steven Crowder meme. This one here, in fact. Crowder often sets up a table with some display of some argument on it, and then follows that with change my mind. This, in essence, is a shifting of the burden of proof fallacy in action. It's making a claim and then asking the other person to prove it wrong or disprove it. The fallacy in Crowder's example is sort of hidden in the language, but it's there. In this example, the fallacy is obvious. We sometimes see believers doing it, which many skeptics and atheists in the online sphere tend to call out, and call out correctly. However, sometimes it's being called out incorrectly, and sometimes the atheist and skeptic actually commits the fallacy themselves. One of the reasons for this is that there is a common misunderstanding about who has the burden of proof. The most common misunderstanding is that the burden of proof only lies with the one making the positive claim, like this example here. Unfortunately, this is a misunderstanding of the burden of proof. The burden of proof does not lie solely with the one making the positive claim, but on the one making a claim, regardless of whether that is a negative or positive claim. If a claim is made, then it is upon the person making that claim to support it if that claim is brought into dispute. It is this misunderstanding that has led to the following misunderstanding. Here we see someone arguing that the burden of proof is only on the person making the positive claim and not on the one making a negative claim disputing the positive claim. In this case, they are arguing that the claim rocks are not sentient does not carry with it a burden of proof. We can see that the idea that negative claims don't carry a burden here too, and here as well. Let's take a hypothetical example of how a conversation like this can go in relation to a discussion between atheists and theists. Consider the following conversation. Theist, God exists. Atheist, there is no evidence that God exists. Theist, prove that there is no evidence. Atheist, the burden of proof is only on the positive claim, never on the negative. So the burden of proof is on you to show that there is evidence. This is indeed an example of burden shifting though. The atheist in this hypothetical has made a claim that there is no evidence, and thus incurs a burden of proof according to standard models of burden of proof, including the legal, scientific, and philosophical models of burden of proof. Atheists who do something like this have committed a shifting the burden of proof fallacy. Anyway, that's a quick rundown of the shifting of the burden of proof fallacy. It is when someone makes a claim that is brought into dispute during a discussion or debate, and the person who made the claim asks the other to prove it wrong or claims the burden is on the other to show it to be incorrect. Not just positive claims, but claims in general. In the future, I'll do a deeper dive into the burden of proof, but hopefully this will help my fellow atheists and skeptics understand the fallacy a little better, as well as understand where they are committing it themselves. Until the next time, take care, see you soon hopefully. Bye.